Welcome back to Nerd Central, where the important thing is that I'm Krysta and I'm back, homies. My apologies for having to expose you to Cody last week while I was out saving the future. So thanks to me, we have a great show for you today with brand new installments of Scary Movie 202, underrated, roundtable reviews, and nerd games. But first and foremost, we must kick it to the news. The Batman cast keeps growing and it's kind of starting to scare us. Our latest developments come as Andy Serkis of Gollum fame has been cast as Alfred Pennyworth. But wait, there's more. Colin Farrell of Bullseye from the Daredevil movie fame has been cast as the Penguin. These developments are concerning because... What? That's not all? Oh, apparently Matthew McConaughey of All Right fame has been cast as Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. As I was saying, this is concerning because that is a lot of villains for one movie, featuring Catwoman, Two-Face, Penguin, and Riddler. Keep in mind, last time a Batman movie had more than 2 villains was Batman and Robin, and we all know how that went. The other movie with a bunch of villains was Spider-Man 3, and that may have been just as equal of a disaster. However, I think we're all eager to see what happens when we throw 4 villains in the ring. Speaking of a bunch of stuff going on, last week during filming, Hollywood once again showed its disdain towards us and announced something. A brief promo for Into the Spider-Verse 2 was released. Not much to it, just a logo and the year 2020. It was later announced that joining our cast of Spider-People would be that weird Japanese TV show Spider-Man that I'm sure you've all seen the memes about. Now, there's some pretty angry news coming up, but to spare the vibe for the meantime, we're going to swing over to Bailey and see what she has with us with Scary Movie 202.
Hello, I'm Bailey Rainsier, and welcome back to Scary Movie 202, where I'll be diving into different scary movies every week. This week, we'll be looking at the 2014 film, As Above, So Below. This movie is about an archaeologist, Scarlet, who is trying to find the greatest treasure of life, Flaman's Philosopher's Stone. She learned that the stone was hidden underground in the catacombs of Paris. She finds a guy named Papillion and his crew who know their way around the catacombs to help her find what she is looking for. As they go deeper into the catacombs, things start to make them feel uneasy. At first, I wasn't a fan of this movie because it's supposed to be a documentary and the camera's shaky, and I absolutely hate movies like that. But since this movie had a really good plot, I ended up not minding it. I also liked that Scarlett's friend George was afraid of the caves, but ended up going down there due to the cops. It was cool that he could translate the language that was written on the walls to help Scarlett figure out the clues of where the stone is. In movies, I hate when people die off, but this movie actually had me okay with it. It's not like I wanted them to die, it just felt like I didn't have a connection to the ones who did die. I also like how the stone can heal cuts. It was freaking cool. The legend of the stone is that it can grant eternal life and turn any metal into gold. This movie had a pretty big twist to it. The crew went through all these places and ended up in a mirror image of what they had already gone through. It was pretty cool. Each person who ended up in the mirror side of the catacombs ended up seeing something that they thought was their fault, like George's brother drowning or Scarlett's dad who hung himself. The last 3 left from this great adventure were Scarlett, George, and Zed. They stood at the edge of this hole and told what they were convicted of and jumped in together, which is about 1,000 feet deep. No one got hurt because they shared what they were convicted of. The way they got out was so cool. They had to push down and over to get this manhole cover open. When they crawled out, it looked like they were upside down, but then they ended up on a street in Paris. It was kind of trippy. They went really far down in the catacombs to end up back on the street. It was so crazy and cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. Overall, this movie was really good. I loved the plot, and despite my feelings of the shaky camera effect to make it seem like a documentary, it helped add to the movie. I'm giving this movie 7 Ooga Boogas out of 10. It was spooky, but could have had a little more scares in it to make it reach the full Ooga Booga potential I am looking for. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Bailey Rainsier, and this has been Scary Movie 202. I'll catch you next week when we go over Sinister.
Thanks for the spook, Bailey. Now onto that anger I was referring to. James Dean has a new movie coming out. If you are unaware of why this is shocking, well, it's because James Dean is a talented actor who died in the 60s. James Dean is being resurrected via CGI to do a new movie. The film is called Finding Jack, and this is ridiculously disrespectful. 1. James Dean didn't agree to be in this thing. 2. CGI is not good enough yet to do this well and tastefully. And 3. If it's bad, James Dean's legacy was tarnished by a movie that he didn't even really act in. Several celebrities have spoken out against this already, including Chris Evans. When Captain America says something is bad, I think it's safe to assume it's a bad idea. There will probably be a documentary about this someday, but let's see what documentary Katie is talking about this week with Underrated.
Welcome back to Underrated. I'm Katie, and this week we are going to be talking about a very serious documentary, Nova Poisoned Water. This documentary covers the horrific incident in Flint, Michigan. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let me tell you a little bit about what this documentary is. This documentary gives us a background of how it all started in 2011 in Flint, Michigan. Flint was close to bankruptcy, so to save money, they were going to change their water sources. Originally, they were in Detroit, Michigan, and they were going to change it to go directly to Lake Huron. The only problem was it would take years for that to be completed. So until that could be done, they would take water from the Flint River and they would treat it at the Flint Water Treatment Center, which hadn't been used in a long time. Immediately there were reports of yellow water because of the rust. Water smelled of bleach and rotten eggs. People who used the water had reports of thinning hair, rashes, and teeth falling out. Scientists from Virginia Tech tested the waters and were shocked to see that there was lead and rust in the water. After many months of the government ignoring the problem and the people of Flint, there were 90 people who contracted Legionella from the water. Of those 90 people, 12 people died. In October 2015, Flint changed back to Detroit water system, getting water from Lake Huron. But even after the change, it would take many months for the water pipes to rebuild a protective scale. A year and a half after the switch, the city declared a state of emergency due to the water. Although there have been many donations to help Flint, it is estimated that they will need $1.5 billion to be able to fix the water system and provide services to families that were affected. For many months, the families of Flint have relied on water from plastic bottles. As of this documentary in 2017, officials say that Flint water is okay to drink, but with a filter. Watching this did nothing but make me angry. And not because of the documentary, I thought that was great, but because of the disregard of humans. These people said for months that their water wasn't right, and they were having all of these symptoms and problems, and all the government officials would say is that it isn't related to the water. How is it not related to the water when all of these people are having the same exact symptoms right after this was changed? We all know that's bull. And what I want to know is how the hell it went on for so long. Okay. Now that I got that off my chest, I really did enjoy this documentary. The information that it had was probably the best thing about this documentary, and everything was delivered so well. It didn't make me confused, it just was full information. And I even thought the interviews that they had with the people of Flint were just perfect. It had beautiful camera angles, it even showed amazing views of the river of Flint, just with dirty water, I guess? But still, I was impressed with the camera work. I also like that they included the scientists from Virginia Tech, so that way we knew the information straight from the source. Out of 1 to 10, I give this documentary 8 stars. Although it was a great documentary, don't get me wrong, I just wish that it was longer. I know that kind of sounds crazy to say, but I just feel like all of the information was compacted into an hour, and I feel like there could be more information that we just don't know. Other than that, I don't have any complaints. We'll see you all next week for another Underrated.
I'm so freaking informed now. Thanks, Katie. We're gonna take a quick break, but don't worry, we'll have more news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nerd Central, where we read month-long books in a few hours. If only we could say the same about textbooks. Remember when a new Paranormal Activity came out like every 6 months, oversaturated the market, and then just kind of disappeared for a few years? It's back! In 2021, everyone's favorite horror franchise about nothing happening until something that should have been happening the whole movie occurs in the last 5 minutes is returning to theaters. Oh joy. Even scarier than Paranormal Activity is that we have a trailer for an animated film, Scoob, and it's just what you imagined. It's a Pixar or DreamWorks-style animated Scooby-Doo movie. The film is clearly intended for younger audiences, but I still wish that James Gunn was allowed to execute his vision of an R-rated Scooby-Doo movie, as weird as that may sound. Returning to the realm of horror movies, nobody expected to actually get another sequel. We have confirmation that a 5th film will be gracing the Scream franchise. Seeing this development is shocking, as Scream 4 didn't perform super well and the series had been rebooted as a TV series on MTV. But we are thankful to have the Ghostface Killer return to his true form. Ever dream of owning the Batmobile from Tim Burton's version of Batman? Well, now you can. The only catch is, it's in 3,306 pieces. And it's a Lego. And it's $250. But you can start picking up this beast of a set on Black Friday. Cody looks way too intense for this week's review, and it kind of scares me, so let's hear his piece over at Roundtable Reviews.
I'm Cody Nance, and welcome to Roundtable Reviews, the show within the show where I yell about movies for 3 minutes. I know, Dr. Sleep came out. I'll get to that one next week. But one of my dear friends decided it would be a good idea to catch up on some of the movies we missed this year. It was 2 minutes into Hellboy 2019 that I remembered why I had chosen to skip that one. Oh boy. I thought the CG in Terminator was rough. Compared to this, that movie is a visual effects masterpiece. I cannot believe that Guillermo del Toro was refused at Hellboy 3 for years just for this reboot to come out and personally insult the longtime Hellboy fans such as myself. The first scene is Alice from Resident Evil getting her head cut off and getting put in a box while this disembodied head is still fully conscious and screaming. Needless to say, the effects look horrible. From this point forward, if I bring up anything that sounds like a special effect, assume it looks horrible. Even Hellboy's makeup looks bad. There's some scenes where he doesn't even look red. It's very important that Hellboy's red. None of the jokes land, intentionally at least, and the action is boring. Not only is the action boring, but there are only really 2 action scenes in the whole movie. A Hellboy movie. Nothing in those action scenes are even remotely intimidating because they all look like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Hellboy 2019 is an embarrassment for something that costed $50 million to make. And it's the worst movie I've seen this year, earning itself a 2 out of 10. Now, I'm gonna lower my blood pressure while Emma does some nerd games.
What up, what up? My name is Emma Bjork and you're watching Nerd Games. This week, my guest and I will be playing an exciting game of Kiss, Marry, Kill, but with MCU characters. In case you're unaware, Kiss, Marry, Kill is the PG version of, you know. To play this game with me, I have somebody you may recognize. It's Krysta!
Hi.
Okay, well, I'm marrying Thor. That's like not even a question. I get to live on Asgard now. It's exciting.
Good.
I would totally kiss Groot. He's so cute. Like, who wouldn't kiss? I guess especially like baby Groot. Just
Yeah, you might get
So
some
cute.
splinters.
I might, but you know, it'd be worth it.
It would be worth
And then kill Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
He's annoying.
Get that guy out of here.
He doesn't deserve anything.
I think Black Widow would probably be great in bed. Can I say that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna marry her because I
love
think
that.
we could have a lifetime together.
Aww.
Captain Marvel, she seems aight. I'll kiss her. What the
Yeah,
heck?
yeah.
For the fans. And then I gotta kill Thanos because I need that kind of.
Who wouldn't kill Thanos? Go for the head.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say. That's what I've heard. I mean, this is unfortunate because Mysterio is just absolutely gorgeous.
It's true. Don't kill him.
I kind of want to kiss him.
I think that's the right.
I mean, to be fair, Doctor Strange is kind of annoying. Definitely gonna get some hate for that.
Bold. That was-
But I'm always gonna dislike him a little bit for that. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Was that just give me a minute to set the water down so I can come help you? Like, what were you going for? So I mean, like in my mind, he just like a little bit killed Tony. I mean, obviously he didn't, but like a little bit.
Indirectly.
So yeah, he's just gonna die. Sorry, Doctor Strange.
Wrecked.
Sorry. Oops. Whoopsie.
I know what I would do.
I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna marry Mysterio.
That's what
He's
I would have done.
absolutely gorgeous. I mean, wouldn't mind waking up with that face every day. It's
true.
Ooh, yeah. And I'll kiss Jane.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Oh, two Guardians
Oh,
characters.
you got 2. Dang.
Rocket Rocket is an animal.
That would be a little weird. But at the same time, Ultron's a robot, and Yondu's an alien.
There's not
So,
really great options here. I'm thinking, oh man, I can't kill Rocket because he makes me laugh. So I could probably marry him.
Just keep him around.
Yeah, you know, for the jokes.
For the fun. Oh yeah.
Ultron, I don't necessarily want to kiss a robot.
That would be strange.
Could get electrocuted. I know some people are into that, but I am not. So I think he's gonna die. And Yondu,
You gonna kiss him?
what's up, baby? That's what I'm doing with Yondu. Ooh.
Oh, bruh. Killing Aldrich Killian,
Yeah.
marrying Captain America, kissing Gamora. That one was easy.
Yeah, that was.
Who wouldn't marry Captain America? Okay, thank you so much, Krysta. This has been an absolute blast. Join me next week for a new Nerd Game.
But am I wrong about Black Widow? No. That's all for me, but after the break, we will decide the best book to movie adaptation. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Nerd Showdown, the part of Nerd Central where we battle it out on a particular subject we have no business debating. We read the books. That makes us better than you. So, we are deciding what the best book-to-movie adaptation is, which basically means we're deciding what the best Harry Potter movie is. With me today, I have the creator of Nerd Games, Emma Bjork. What is your Harry Potter?
The first one, of course.
Okay. And Emma's dearest friend, Ashley Betha. What is your Harry Potter?
The fourth one. The
Okay.
best one.
All right.
Ridiculous.
Whatever.
It's conflicting statements, but let's show down. Emma, first one, why is it the best?
Obviously, one is the best because it started the whole franchise, you know? Like, you wouldn't have 4 without 1. So, I mean, like, other than the fact that it started it, it's just very accurate. It gives you all those, like, warm fuzzies from the first time you saw it. You're like, oh, they're babies. It's so great because you've got, you get to see everyone for the first time. So it's the first time you're seeing McGonagall, it's the first time you're seeing Dumbledore. It's just that good introduction, but it's also got like amazing accuracy to the books. They all take the boats in, which is exactly what happens in the books. We get to see at the end the way Dumbledore gives those points, and it's like to each one, and the Slytherins are all excited, and then they're not. It's just like, it's so accurate, like that's what happened in the book. Like I remember reading it for the first time and then sitting down and immediately watching the movie right after, and I had the book in my hands and I was flipping through it, and my mom was sitting next to me, she was totally making fun of me. And I was like, oh, see Mom, look, that's a direct quote. And like, sitting, like I was I've always been a nerd. And so like I was just sitting there with my book, and it was so accurate.
Okay. Ashley, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Dumbledore said calmly.
Yeah. What? You stole my point.
I literally talk about that. Okay, wait. I talk about it.
Well,
Okay.
Let me save it for my rebuttal too, so.
I took legit notes about why 4 is the best. First of all, it's a scary movie, so it has to be it's a scary book, so it has to be a scary movie. First PG-13 movie. That's important to note. Okay. When Harry's name gets called in the Goblet of Fire, we actually get to see Dumbledore freak out. Given maybe a little different from the book, but we get to see him freak out. That calm facade, he totally like, whoa, out of nowhere. Okay. It's a hard movie to shoot because of the Tri-Wizard Tournament, especially the underwater scenes. I can't hold my breath for like 5 minutes. That was amazing. And then,
You know,
like, how did
Ashley,
they do
there's
that?
this thing called special effects.
Fix it in post. And we finally get to see Voldemort. I mean, who shall not be named. We finally get to see him.
Oh, we also
and
get to see him in
on
one.
Not really. Okay, but this isn't your time, man. And although, okay, so the 4th movie is twice the length of the 3rd book. Did you know that? Special fact. But although the 4th movie isn't 2 times as long as the 3rd movie, so if the 4th movie is twice as long as the 3rd book, the movie is not twice as long as the 3rd movie, but it is longer.
I understand what she's saying.
Yeah, because the fourth movie, they couldn't pull a Lord of the Rings and pull a 4-hour movie. They had to make some things were omitted, but I would argue that all the important parts of the plot are there. Triwizard Tournament, or not the tournament, the first Quidditch match where the Dark Mark comes out. There.
Quidditch World Cup.
That is what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read them like when I was in Knowles. Anyway, so then the Dark Mark appeared. They went to school. Then Harry was accidentally entered into the Triwizard Tournament, and then we get to see all of the events, like getting the golden egg that was protected by a dragon. We get to see retrieving the lost friend in the Black Lake, and the third, who can forget the maze? The maze is the best part. That's the most memorable part because we finally get to see who shall not be named.
All right, Emma, why do we think Goblet of Fire is an atrocity to film?
Well, I think 4 is the worst, easily, because it is the most inaccurate. Okay, so you said the maze is absolutely unforgettable.
It's memorable.
It was in the books.
And the movie.
No, in the movies, what does the maze have? Riddle me that. It has scary leaves.
Suspense.
And creepy wind. Ah!
Okay.
I'm so scared. In the book, it had boggarts and blast-ended scroots and a bunch of magical creatures that they intentionally left out because they're lazy. So, I mean, other than the fact that the maze was the worst, like, it's just not accurate.
The maze is what you got, the maze.
No, okay. There's other things too. Like, I mean, like you said, like, they left out a lot of details.
It couldn't be a Lord of the Rings novel. They couldn't make it 4 hours long.
They definitely could. They chose not to by leaving out important points.
Like the maze.
Yes, like the maze. But also, I mean, can we take a moment to appreciate the most ridiculed line in all of Harry Potter? Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Oh my God!
Dumbledore said calmly. Like, did they read that line? Did they read it? Did they read the book? Did they? Did they? It's a question I need to know. I need to know. I mean, like, yeah, there were a couple good moments. Like, congrats, they included the egg. Like, duh, it's a main plot point. You can't leave it out.
Exactly.
They also had the maze, but it doesn't mean it was accurate or good.
Oh, you just wait. You just wait.
Okay. Ashley, why isn't Sorcerer's Stone hold up as much as it used to?
Well, why one is bad in no particular order. In the book, when Harry talks to the snake in Parseltongue, I can't say it correctly. Parseltongue?
Yeah.
Parseltongue? Okay. He speaks to a boa constrictor, but in the movie, it's supposedly a python. And in the book, let's talk about the details. You want to talk about the maze? Let's talk about the details. And in the book, the glass screen that the snake's in, it doesn't come back. Dudley never gets stuck in it. So let's talk about the details. Yeah. In the book, Dudley and Petunia are blonde. That is very contrary to the movie. And Harry meets Draco before they go into school, not when they're being sorted. They left out characters, and in the Nimbus 2000, it's not a public thing. It's like a secret. The Nimbus 2000, the wand, no, not the wand, the broom. Thank you.
Broom?
Okay, cool it. The broom, that is a secret. That's like Gryffindor's secret weapon, but not in the movie. It's this big public thing. Also, Quirrell's death. Let's talk about Quirrell's death. Okay, so it was like a creative liberty that whenever Harry touched him, he turned to ash, but that is not what happened in the book. In the book, right? In the book, when Voldemort left Quirrell, then he died. Also, that was like the most important part. Also, when they trapped Harry with fire in the movie, but Quirrell trapped him with cloaks in the book, right? Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's what my research says.
You're pretty sure?
My research says
There's
that.
definitely a fire room in
There's
the book.
definitely a fire room in the book.
Okay, then let's omit that in post.
Please include it.
Okay, please don't. Also, in the book, Harry is supposedly looking directly at Voldemort and Quirrell's faced away. Instead, in the movie, Harry looks in the mirror and not directly at Voldemort. An important detail, like the maze was an important detail. And in the book, Hagrid recognizes Harry right away when he sees him, doesn't mistake him for Dudley. And Hagrid
Yeah, he
Mistake
does.
him.
Yeah, in the movie he totally
No, he
does.
was talking directly to Harry, and then Dudley thought he was directing.
No,
Harry
he was
thought-
definitely talking to Dudley in that
He
scene.
thought that Dudley
He
was
said,
Harry.
"Hiya, Harry. A bit plumper than I last saw you."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We're gonna watch the movies. Yeah.
Because I remember watching that scene, and I remember thinking that was an issue, but it's not. Because if you go back and watch it, that's not at all what he
Okay,
says.
well, let's pretend for a second that's not what happened. Regardless, Hagrid also knots the gun in the book, and it never gets fired. In the movie, he just bends it upward, and it gets fired. That's an important detail. And in the book, Harry learns about his parents while with the Dursleys, not in, what was it, the Leaky Cauldron, where Hagrid explains everything. And finally, during the Gryffindor-Slytherin Quidditch match, they aren't tied like in the scene from the movie. Actually, they're losing to Slytherin when this happens until Harry catches the snitch and they win the game. Lots of inaccuracies, that's all I'm saying.
All right, lots of details in those arguments. All right, so Emma,
Did my research.
wrap us up. Why is Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone the best?
I think Philosopher's Stone is the best because, yeah, there might be a couple minor inaccuracies that you really have to
Details.
search to find, hence the research that was necessary.
I haven't read them in like a while.
The research was necessary.
Okay.
Because you couldn't find them on your own. But basically, like, yeah, there are a couple minor inaccuracies, but you do have to keep in mind that it is still a book-to-movie adaptation. There's gonna be a few little differences here and there. Like, oh, boa constrictor versus a python. First of all, who knows snakes that well? Second of all, maybe a
I'm a science
python
major.
was easier to get for the crew. Maybe the python was cheaper. I don't know, movie making's hard. So like, yeah, there were a couple minor inaccuracies, but they still had the same overarching plot. They still had the same story. And I don't feel like little details like a python versus a boa constrictor makes or breaks which is gonna be the best Harry Potter movie.
Okay. Well, Ashley, last chance to defend your maze.
Okay, well, you could say the same thing about mine. They had to keep it to not 4 hours like a Lord of the Rings movie. They had to
could've made
make it
4 hours.
They did not. They weren't going to do that.
They could've.
Money probably was super important. Anyway, so they couldn't make it 4 hours.
Steal my points. Okay.
They couldn't make it super long. They had to stick to the main plots, and they got that. Yes, maybe they didn't get all the details of the maze, which was your major argument for my side. However, we got to see super cool things. Like we got to see Voldemort for the first time, and I thought they did a very good job of like the physical attributes of Voldemort. We got to see the characters grow. It was a scary movie, like it was a scary book. I thought it was a really good movie. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, this is probably one of the most entertaining and intense showdowns I've been a part of. I was scared at times and didn't know if I'd need to hire a bouncer, but
Be careful with your decision then.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Both had good points about the various inaccuracies, and then you both went on the thing to say that the inaccuracies don't matter. So,
This is very true.
Okay. The Dursleys were also brunette in your movie, so that's an invalid point, I'd just like to say.
Yeah, but your movie introduced everything. Which
Oh,
was one
it
of your
did
major
introduce
parts.
everything. It did
You said it was
introduce
your major
everything,
parts,
which
why
is
the
crazy
actors
because
weren't
we
super
wouldn't
great.
have
The
four
actors
without
weren't super-
mine.
Yeah, but the actors learned from one, and they got better. They developed talent.
Because they weren't hired because of their talent.
Did you hear how Harry got on? Or yeah, did you hear how he became Harry Potter? They
McGonagall.
saw him at a play, is what I read.
Wow, because he was talented.
No, because he was just like looked like Harry Potter.
He also had to write a letter. Also, McGonagall personally gave him a reference. She was like, I know that kid. He's good. Hire him.
I don't know about that.
It's true. Look it up.
he was like in the Page Master or something like that?
Yeah, it was a movie with McGonagall, and she was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
kid's a great actor.
Which is
And then
weird,
he,
we don't really see that in the movie.
Then he had then he had to write a paper about how he was like Harry Potter, and he did amazing.
I heard he did okay.
He did what Harry Potter would have done,
Which was okay.
which was accurate.
Which is rely on Hermione for all the answers.
No, that's a Ron thing.
So, did the fourth book have Dobby in it?
No.
I don't think he ever actually showed up in 4.
And he wasn't in the movie.
If he
either.
did, it would have been minimal.
Okay.
I don't think he did, because he was in
I see him
2.
in 2, and then he
Does he
comes
briefly
back
show up in 3?
5?
Or does he wait until 5 to come back?
I don't remember seeing him
Wait,
in
does
3.
he come back in 5 though?
No,
No, 'cause
he's
5
in
is-
2.
Does
He
he
has a
not
brief
show up
cameo
again?
in
Isn't
5.
he?
Oh, he does. Okay.
Because he's in.
Because he shows back
Is he
up.
in 6?
He's
He
the
gets
most
a girlfriend at
prominent-
one point.
What?
No, that's
In the
Winky.
books. And
She's not his
that's in the
girlfriend
books.
though.
None
He
of-
just
none
like
of that ever
low-key
goes in the movies.
flirts.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get a girlfriend. She doesn't date him. She's too busy crying.
That's what that's what I'm referring to anyway.
I mean, we all have those days.
Okay. I still can't. It's a very difficult decision because you guys are both like so into it. Usually.
Just go off and pick just a separate movie entirely.
So the best movie is
It's-
actually 5.
It's actually Order of the Phoenix, but I am going to go for
4. He said 4.
yeah. I'm going with Ashley.
Yeah!
I disagree.
Be a good sport. Tell me I'm amazing.
That's not being a good sport. Here. Good
argument.
game, you
Good
cheater.
job.
Okay. That's going to do it for this week. You can watch all of our previous episodes on the KNWT YouTube page. You can also follow KNWT on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And follow Nerd Central on Twitter at nerd_central_TV. Nermageddon is up next. We'll see you next week on an all-new Nerd Central.